The famous slanted opening crawl, best known from shows like Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers. I think there was a low-budget indie space film called Star Wars that did it too. As you can see, you can change the color to whatever color you want. That's actually not part of the animation. I just cut that up and did different colors here and then put a crossfade between them just to demonstrate that you can change to different colors. Don't worry, it just stays one color the entire time. All right, let's jump into this. All right, to get started, we're gonna go up here. And again, we're in the Windows workspace, caption and graphics, and we're gonna go over here to the graphics templates tab and click this button to install motion graphics template. And alternatively, you can also open up a Finder or Explorer and just click and drag and bring it in that way. Okay, so there we have it. And I'm gonna just click and drag this in, and you can see it's pretty long. And one thing that always bothered me whenever I'd watch a fan film, or even whenever the opening crawl was used, whether in parody fashion or whatever, is that a lot of times when it comes in, it's too far away from the camera, or it's angled too steep or not steep enough, and it's hard to read. And by the time it gets here, the top's already all the way off the screen, and it just, none of them quite looked like Star Wars. So I wanted to remediate that by making a professional quality, easy to use opening crawl. One thing you'll notice about the Star Wars movies is by the time you get to the end, you should be able to almost read the whole thing again. And you can see that we've got that going on here. And one other thing is that the top will fade out before the rest of it, and then it will all fade out together, just like you see here. And of course, another thing is that sometimes it would be too fast or too slow. And so I actually, I'll go up here to properties. I actually based this off of the opening crawl from The Empire Strikes Back, and while designing this. And so you'll see the speed, the angle, all of it is, this is about as close as you're gonna get to those movies. Now, granted, those films are, this is a 1080 by 1920, 16 by 9 aspect ratio, and I believe those movies are filmed in CinemaScope, so there could be a slight difference there. But other than that, this is probably about as close as you're gonna get. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what else other features we have. This motion graphic template does allow you to change the font, and that's mostly because, well, I prefer using Franklin Gothic Demi and Franklin Gothic Medium Condensed for this. However, you might not have that font available to you, so I wanted to give you the option to be able to change it. You could change it, to Orabesh if you wanted. But I also wanted to give you control to be able to change the font size. So, if it gets kind of wacky like this, you could bring that down a little bit. Or even if you just change it to another font, being able to change the size. But, as you see, it doesn't take much for it to start going kind of ballistic here and just all over the place. And so this just, allows you to make small changes. Of course, you can also change the color. So there you have it. I'm going to go ahead and undo all that. Back to the way we had it. Okay. So it's about 80 to 95 words. I'm just going to show you if I copy and paste this in here. You'll notice that it gives us maybe four more lines, I believe. So yeah, a little bit of flexibility there. But again, to stick with the animation, you don't want this going on forever and ever. Or maybe you do. Maybe this is a Spaceballs parody. I don't know. But for this animation, this will also keep you from being too wordy. Now, the nice thing is this star background is included, And but you can also here, and I'm gonna enable this layer down below. This is just to demonstrate the transparency. So as I bring the opacity down, you can see that you can put this text over any background. You could put it over your own star-filled background, or just a black background if you prefer that, or any video or image layer you put underneath here. So, and you're welcome to use the stars as well. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Now, I have included a bonus in this pack, the old time serial slant. So let's check this out. So this is reminiscent of that old, you can see it's a little bit shorter, reminiscent of that old Flash Gordon, Buck Rogers, Green Hornet. Oh, I turned off the wrong one. Here we go. Style opening crawl. And there's a few differences here. So we'll go up into properties. And actually, let's talk about this. The first difference, if you look back here at the episodic opening crawl, it begins off screen. And then it goes all the way up here, and then it fades out. This one's a little bit different in that it begins when the text is, it fades in when the text is already on screen, just like in those old serials. And there's a nice little camera shake going to it to kind of give it that vintage feel. So I like that. It's a fun little thing there. And then of course, once we get to the end here, same thing, it just kind of, it fades out. And this is what I was talking about earlier, how a lot of opening crawls go right off the screen, and that's fine for this style, but if you're doing like a Star Wars video, you want it to look like Star Wars. So now if you remember how wild things got when we started changing the font here, it gets even more so here. So I ended up actually not allowing for much text adjustments here because it just got too crazy too fast. Now, if you want different fonts, that's what this one's for. This is the main star right here. This one's just a bonus if you want this very specific look. And so while you cannot change the font size or even the typeface here, you can with the forward. And I'll show you that. You can change it here. And you can as well with the chapter 2, because if you got chapter 37, that's going to be. Well, I guess I could just show you that. And for okay, I forgot to capitalize it, but you see, you get the point. There. Capitalized. Okay. Anyways, now, but the nice thing about this is that not sure why the fonts aren't showing up here, but the font here is called Thirsty. I know why it's not showing up here. I'm gonna go ahead and save this. I haven't closed Premiere since I installed these fonts. So, okay, now that I've opened this back up, let's try that again. Okay, there, now it's updated. I was gonna say this one is called Thirsty Script, and this one is called Stevie Sands. And these are both Adobe fonts. So you should be able to just sync that with Adobe fonts and that will work. So one other thing about this is that it does have a little bit of a blur effect here. And so I don't know how well you're gonna be able to see this on YouTube compression, but I can take this off and this gets a lot crisper. And then you can turn it up. You can go all the way up to 15, and this is just the 15 pixels on Gaussian blur. But even that's a little too much. I would keep it somewhere between 5 and 10. And personally, I like 5. It's not too noticeable, but just enough to give it that little extra detail. Now, of course, obviously, if you want to go and make it super blurry for whatever reason, you can go into Premiere's Gaussian blur, and you can blur this as much as you want. But this is just, I just included a little bit of blur here just to make it easy and not go too crazy. And of course, you can change the color to whatever you want. And obviously I'm going with kind of dark faded colors here, but you can of course make this as bright as you need to. Ooh, it's a little too bright for my liking, but anyways, and yeah, and this is actually just kind of, it's not pure white, it's a little bit of gray. D7, 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 okay. Awesome, yep, so there you have it. I hope this is useful for you, and I hope you have fun creating. Thanks for watching.